Welcome to Basic Tools of ActivInspire. In this training module, I will show you the basic tools that you'll use to create a flip chart. So in this example, I have typed something up with the text tool and inserted some images. But if I want to alter the text, I can do that pretty easily. If I click on the text, the marquee tool will come up just like it would any other object. So I can move my text here if I wanted to with the X. But if I want to actually edit the text inside, such as the shape or the color and the font, I need to double click inside. This brings up a toolbar across the top that's similar to Word in any word processor program you've used. I can change the font, the size, whether I want it bold, underlined, italicized. I can change the color and how I want it formatted within that box. So I just select the part that I want to change the color. I go up to the color box and right click. And I'm going to choose red for this word. And now I have changed one of the words to a red color. But I have a second option to do that too. If I click the fill bucket over here in the toolbar and select red, I can also select a word and change its color in one sweep. And in this way I can draw attention to certain words within my text. So if I wanted to highlight these numbers in this text, it might help students understand there's a math problem here that I'm asking. So if I wanted students to write on the board, I would select the pen tool and a color that I would like. I can also change the width of the pen using these dots here and the sliding bar. And so right now I have a very skinny pen marking. But if I wanted it really thick, I could change those parameters. So this next page is an example of importing a PDF and using the pen tool over it, just like it is a worksheet. But I can also use a highlighter just like I would a marker in a paper version of this. If I select the highlighter in a light color, I can highlight things on here that I want to draw attention to. So if I wanted to highlight what the directions are for this PDF, I could use the highlighter. So I want students to rewrite each sentence on the board. Now if I had a Word version or a PDF that's not inserted into a flip chart, I have an additional option too. If I select the Annotate button over here, ActivInspire will kind of minimize itself and will revert to the last open window that you have on your desktop. So for this instance, it's the PDF version of that file that I had imported into a flip chart. But I could do the same thing here and write over it without it actually being in the flip chart. So for instance, I could ask students to write these two sentences on their own sheet of paper, but I would draw their attention to it by using the Annotate on the board. I could also use Annotate to draw directions over a website. So if I wanted students to know where to log in on a website, I could draw a box around something. Or I could show them this is the URL up here. And to simply get back to my flip chart, I turn the Annotate button off. Now say I wrote something and I wanted to erase it. I have two options to do that. I can select the eraser icon, and the size of my eraser icon will be dependent on the size of the pen icon that I have. So I can erase just by dragging my eraser. If I wanted to erase the whole page of stuff that I wrote, I can use the Windex bottle down here at the bottom. Now this bottle gives me several options. I can either clear all the annotations on a page, I can clear all the shapes on a page, including images. I can clear the grid, the background, or just the entire page and make it blank again. Now I just erased the E and the period at the end of my sentence. To say that was a mistake and I wanted to go back and undo it, I can click the undo button down here. It will go back one step each as I did it. Or if I went too far, because I accidentally erased the annotation across the top, the highlighter, I can go forward and add it back. So in this page I have some shapes and some text. Now I have drawn circles and triangles, but I have lots of other shapes to choose from to draw. I click the shape button in the toolbar and the toolbar will expand. So not only can I draw lines and some basic shapes, if I click these arrows down at the bottom, my menu will expand even further. So now I can draw faces and stars and additional lines. The thing to remember is the first set of color boxes that you have are what your outline will be. The inside color is determined by the second set of boxes. So if you want them to match so you don't realize that there is an outline and an inside, make the colors the same. But you can always change that later even after you've drawn the shape. So say I want to draw a rectangle. I want it to be blue with an orange inside. Now say I don't like the orange inside. I can go to my fill bucket, select the blue, and color the whole thing in just like I did with text. And now it appears that my shape has no outline, but it's one solid shape. Now my shapes are all independent right now. They are all just scattered around the page. I could layer them and make it one item together. So if I take shapes and layer them on top of each other, kind of like a domino, I can group them together. Because right now if I move each piece, not all of them move with it. If I select this icon over here in the toolbox and I click and drag to group all of these together in one area, see the transparent box, I get this menu now that encompasses all of them. If I click this icon here, it groups them together as one object, and now it is highlighted. So now if I use this to move it, they all go together. And I can always undo that by unclicking this grouped button again. And I can always undo that by clicking that button, and now my pieces can move independently. This is helpful if you have lots of shapes on a page and you want to move them together. You can group them, move them, and ungroup them to move them around as you wish.